All right, so today's video, we're watching a Gold 5 support on Xbox playing Moira. And they say, I've been playing Overwatch 2 since the end of Season 1 and just recently hit Gold 2 on support. After achieving my career high, I've been steadily dropping back down. Overwatch is my first experience with FPS games, so my mechanics aren't the greatest. That's fine. I am mostly a Moira main for that reason. I try to constantly think about my positioning and playing cover, which I think I do a good enough job to climb, but just can't seem to make it over that hump. I hate to be that guy to say I think I carried our team this game, but I'm not sure what more I could have done. I've made it my New Year's resolution to hit at least plat, so any advice and tips you would have would be greatly appreciated. Now, you can hit that. You got this. You had a whole year. 360-something days. You got this. All right, here we go. See what's going on. Try to figure it out so we can clean up your gameplay a bit, and hopefully we'll lead to you climbing, all right?
Attackers enemy contact. Defend objective A.
Okay. Already, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna start off right away here, and this is just a way to do it. Try to be like a bit more involved right away. And what I mean by that is you kind of just stood here. You notice that? How you just like stood there and didn't move and like didn't do anything and like and all that. And you said you're always worried about the Widow here. Well, you say that, right? But why did you peek the Widow? Does that make like look at this? Like I can show you right away. You said you're like afraid of peeking the Widow here, which I agree. You're right. In that sense, you're right. Right? You're like I'm in the same boat here. But like you don't want to kind of stand here like this. Just like get yourself into the game. And I only do this because it just helps with that. I'll show you something else here. Ready? Watch this. Now watch. You're afraid of the Widow, but then you do this. See? So now you're like, oh, I'm afraid of the Widow, but then you peek that very slowly, and you don't really know. But look at this is if I was a Widow, look at how you look right now. You see that? So also, if you get concerned about things like Widow too, don't be afraid of like starting here. When you're on a hero like Moira, like if you just want to set up here, you're fine for now. If your teammates are going to play around that area, like you can angle a little bit safer here. It's weird how it works because you think this angle isn't going to work as well, but a lot of the time you're fine. Like nobody's usually prepared for this peak, so you can heal your Zarya that way. Like you don't need to play this angle to heal your Zarya. So start here. You're like, well, what if they push over? Well, you're on Moira a lot. You play Moira a lot, you fade away. Now you're back to safety, see? So remember, you don't have to necessarily always use your fade as like an aggressive tool. You can just use it as like a way to back away. But anyway, I noticed that right away. Be more involved right from the get-go. I wouldn't play in Hotel. I don't know if the fade would be as... Oh, Hotel to the right over here. Yeah. No, I don't like that. I know what you're saying. Probably not, no. Now, like your Zarya, you see how... Okay, so like this is what I mean about being more involved because I can already see what's happening. So in that situation, you're just looking at... You're watching a healing orb, all right? You've already thrown your healing orb over there. It's going to do a decent enough job. You need to know, where's your tank now? Why isn't your tank there? And then look at the timing of like that 2 to 3 second window where you were just concentrating on just your healing orb. Now your tank's dead. So already this is why I'm going to say be more involved. Like, yes, you throw your healing orb, but that's not the end of the team fight. The end of the team fight is when your team wins, right? So you play until that happens. And, if you want to chill for a second, you can. But like, you see what I'm saying? Okay, here we go. I might kill the Bastion. Nice. Good reaction there. You get drawn in by your healing orbs. Yeah, see, I do too, but it's usually to go, what is that healing orb doing? Why is it going to the sky? That's what mine do. So. Good damage orb, I like that. Especially when you're trying to retake. The healing orb won't even keep them alive to begin with, so it's like. Now you would. Yeah. Just remember to pay attention to your... Start to give a little bit more, like... Pay attention to your tank a little bit more, because your tank's playing aggressive. So when you have a Zarya playing like that, you also need to keep at their same pace, which goes back to what we said. You got to constantly be involved in the team fight at that point. If your Zarya is going to play aggressive, you also need to make sure that you're going at their pace. Moira allows for that. Moira, you can have 2 different playstyles, which is pretty cool. Once your Zarya's back, I would ult. You could ult actually now if you wanted to kind of get tempo going. I was gonna. And the reason why I would have made the ultimate is to get out the rest of their ultimate so you don't get snowballed here. But like 2, your teammates are running in over and over again. Eventually, you're gonna get picked off if you're gonna keep doing that. And then look what happens. Like, do you see? Okay, here's my question to you, because I think you have a very safe play style, and I think I can tell you right now, if I can get you out of this super safe play style, you're gonna climb, and you're gonna hit your. You said your New Year's resolution was to get the plat too, to get the plat. You can do that easily. Because what's happening now is like what you're doing is you're playing extremely safe. Let me ask you this question: you have a fully charged Zarya, you're running into their team, and you just pop your ultimate. Which, by the way, notice how you popped your ultimate exactly where I wanted you to pop your ultimate, but it was after you lost 2 teammates, right? What you want to do here is why not go all in with your Zarya? What there's no point at this. Your teammates are already dead. You just lost to Pharah, right? You're not going to be able to survive this. Your Zarya's in here. Why are you backing up and just holding your left click at the cart when they have that ult anyway? Maybe give an opportunity to your Zarya. Maybe you go in there and you keep your Zarya alive just enough through the Zen ultimate. It's just enough. And your Zarya bubble comes back up. And the Zarya kills 2, right? The Zarya kills 2 now. And then you die, but now your teammates come back in a 3v3, and then now it's a much easier retake. Instead, you play it very safe. You go back there. Did Bastion's scary to peek? Well, the Bastion can be scary to peek, but it goes back to what I was saying. If you look at what's happening here with everything else, why not go all in there at that point with the ultimate? At that point, it's gonna be considered a bad ultimate regardless. So why not give opportunity and a chance for your Zarya to maybe survive during the Zen ult, maybe pick up a kill or 2? How often do you hear about it? Should you have? Yes, that's what I'm saying, Mark. Is I would have probably went in with your Zarya, so I can show you very quickly. Like, watch this. So your Zarya here, I'll just show you. I'm gonna try something at the beginning of the year with Spectating to see if I get a little bit more into detail. If people like this, I've been trying to stray away from it as much, but let me show you. Okay, here you are. Your teammate's backing up. Now, remember, I initially wanted you to ult sooner than this because I wanted you to get ultimates out. Sometimes having an ultimate just to get out multiple ultimates, I call it. Chat kind of saw it recently when I was doing the Nuzlocke. I was like, sometimes you just got to start the domino. And a lot of the time, especially in gold, players play very reactively. So the moment you pop an ultimate, there's a chance you get Zen ult out, Sigma ult out, Nano, back. You know what I mean? Like, you get value. And especially with Moira, who builds ult pretty quickly. Let me show you this very quickly. Ready? So now, here you are, right? Boom, your Pharah goes in, you know, dies. Okay. Ready? Boom. Now your Zarya's in, and you've ulted. Okay, now look at this. You're here by yourself. And you have a Zarya right here. No one's behind you. Your Torb is running back from spawn. Your Torb is going to eventually get here a little bit quicker because of the Lucio, but nowhere near you, right? And your Pharah is respawning. Your Zarya is in here with full energy. Look at the HP of their teammates. Even with the Zen's about to ult here, I want you to think about this. Why not be aggressive with your Zarya? Because if your Zarya at any point is able to survive this, especially in this game, getting 1 or 2 kills here is going to be way better than doing this. So now let's watch you. Watch your Zarya and let's watch you. Look at you. Look at this. Now look how long your Zarya survived without any help from you, right? You've already backed up. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying, like, rather than just sit there. So you're playing a little bit too safe at times, and I think that's why it would have been better just to go in with your teammate. Because now you're backing up anyway, and like, yeah, you're back with your team, but you're not going to be able to do anything anyway. Like, now you're just... Like, it's just... You would have been here regardless. Because your Zarya is going to be behind you in about 2 seconds. Right? Yep. So instead of giving opportunity there for maybe a retake, you just lose the team fight anyway. And now you're just here. See? Yeah, Moira Lucio's a fine comp. That's a good signal. Good heals. Good job. Good management of heals. Healing orb that. Yep. Great reaction. That was a good reaction, by the way. You played that well. Nice. Good job. Now go help your Zarya now. Yep. Good reaction there. Good job. You and your team played that well.
For something more.
Still watching. Right again. I'm going to save you from this because you said you're definitely playing too back and defensive. It's not about playing too back and defensive. Well, it is, but it's more about your timings of when you play defensive and when you play aggressive. And that's the problem you're running into is like you're always defensive. Like, it's okay to play a safe spot. It's just recognizing when it's time to be a little bit more aggressive. And I think that's what I'm already telling is, like, I don't want you to feel like you just need to, like, fade into their team and start damage orbing in the middle of 5, right? To the heal in the turret. I honestly, I account that they're just worried about a bunch of things at once. Now, be aggressive with this. There you go. Okay, there you go. You got aggressive at a certain point. Your Zarya grabbed... That was a sequence of Overwatch I just witnessed. Did the Pharah fall off the map, or did I just see that wrong? The answer is yes. Okay, let's head back now. Okay. Know that yourself? I've fallen off the map here before, and I'm in top 500, so it happens. Okay. Are you seeing what I'm saying? Like, you literally got distracted there. Like just by a Reaper in your back line far away from you. You got distracted by a Reaper. You didn't even look at your tank 90% of the time. And then your Zarya dies, right? You don't need to worry about the Reaper like that. Like, you need to make sure you're finding the balance between, yes, helping with things like that in the back line, but also just making sure that your tank is alive. Because you are the main support in this. You think your Brig will not be able to... 3 armor packs will not be enough for your Brig to keep that player alive, and your Brig isn't even there. It's on you. So if your tank dies there, that's going to be on you in that situation, right? So.
I offer something more. Much obliged.
Whoa.
Here, you wish to be healed. Such grievous needs.
All right. Yeah. So, I can already tell what's happening. I mean, like, I got good news for you, though, on this one, Mark. Like, the good news on this one, right, is that, like, you can improve so much from this. Like, I don't think you understand. Like, you're a playstyle adjustment away from climbing, no problem. Like, being able to climb. It's all just, you're not involved in the team fights. You're just hoping that everything goes in favor of your team. And that's what you need to fix. Is like, you need to be a part of these team fights outside of just standing there and then, like, occasionally shooting at a Reaper on your flank and then forgetting about your tank, right? That's fixable. That is more of, we're going to refocus you on, like, where you need to look and et cetera, and that's fine, right? Are you saying, have I ever played with a Moira as a main, like, the main support in a comp? Yes, all the time. I mean, that was a comp for a long time. You still see Moira sometimes in, like, high-level play. You have really, really, really strong healing and really good damage output you can bring to the team. And your ultimate's really good for that, for leading in pressure. So.
I am optimized. Eyes open.
All right. There you go. I mean, nothing you can do right here. Throw a damage orb. This is time where you throw a damage orb, by the way. Okay. Things like this, again. Be involved. You already know you won the team fight. You have teammates on point. Why are you not throwing a random damage orb off the wall there? Your cooldown's quick. These are the moments where maybe your damage orb bounces off a wall and you get 8% L charge. Now that's 8% closer to your ultimate. Do you see what I'm saying? Finally threw your damage orb, and look at it's doing, by the way. It would have done the same thing. You pick up ult charge there. Now you're at, let's say, 50%, because you would use your damage orb on cooldown while you were just waiting for something to happen, right? Like, being more involved. There it is. There's a damage orb. Boom. See, you see all that damage you're getting? You would have gotten that maybe once or twice when you were just standing there doing nothing. Renzi, thanks for the feature smiles. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks. There you go. Nice. There you go. Good job. Notice something? You're with your tank feels like they can be healed, and you're more involved in that team fight right there. Do you see this now?
Execute them all.
Get up there with your Zarya. Now, you gotta stand cart, kinda. Yeah, they're not making it easy on you. Now remember, D.Va can eat your orb. There you go. Good job on getting it by the D.Va. Good job. That's kind of on your Bastion, I'll be real, dude. Damage orb, damage orb. Oh, yeah. It might have missed. No, it's fine. Don't be afraid to ult this if you get your ult. Keep your Zarya alive. Yeah, well, it worked out. Just remember, you can take an extra second there to, like, really get the value out of that damage orb. I feel like you're rushing some of your orbs. Nice kill.
Repairing your cellular makeup.
Greetings.
I want you to ult 10 seconds ago. You're waiting on your ult. Reactionary ultimate. Moira ult is 10 times better when you're not using a reactionary. When you're using it more aggressively. Nice kills. Now it's weird. I'm gonna pause for a second. Why are these team fights so much better right now? Let me ask you that question. Let me ask you that question here. Like, are you seeing this? Yeah, exactly. Because you got more aggressive. You're staying with your tank more. You're being a little bit more proactive in the team fights. Do you see what I'm saying? And I want to kind of circle back on this because I think a lot of players will kind of struggle with this one area of it. I'm going to kind of watch the rest of the round. Nice pick by your teammates. Yes, exactly. Good damage orb, nice job. You're doing well on point right now. Now, I'm not worried about... okay. Okay, so in that situation, I wasn't worried about it for a bit, but then you turned your back and, like, forgot about everybody else. What you want to do is you want to fade back, assist your Bastion, and then you still control map. That's what you would do there. So, just to continue on for 1 second, though. But yeah, you're right, because you said, I've said to play defense like offense in the past. You guys, you need to think about that more. Exactly. Because on attack... You're being more aggressive. You're with your tank. You're throwing more damage orbs. On defense, you're standing there you're essentially just standing there waiting for something to happen and not really doing anything, right? So that's why I really want you to think about that when you're on defense, because you can do the same thing you're doing on attack, right? Obviously, when you're on defense, you have to prevent the objective from pushing, but that's why I always say when you're on defense, you're still playing the same way you would on attack. You just want to make sure they don't capture the objective. Obviously, you have more defensive strategies, but you're eventually going to do the same thing. You're going to have a team fight. And you want to be able to take that in a team fight area that is advantageous to you. So you want to be more aggro. Finding those times is a little bit different. Anyway. All right, here we go. It's time. Losing damage. Check your teammates out with the heal. There you go. A little bit of a random note, but you have a time in there to get a good damage orb out. Boot by your teammates. Just because the D.Va ults, you can throw a damage orb, pick up some ult charge, things like that. There's a little small note. Your orb will get full value. All right, you got out of there. And they might get you still. That's fine. It happens. You said just throw Enfeeble an orb? Oh, man, that was one of the... For anybody wondering the context on Enfeeble an orb, they tried this like during the Overwatch 2 beta. They tried this concept of giving you an Enfeeble an orb rather than a damage orb, and it was so ridiculous. But rank gold. Don't be afraid to ult this. Don't be afraid to ult this. I really think you should just start blasting way sooner than that. Yeah. Okay. Don't ult now. Now ult. Now ult. Now ult. Now ult. Now ult. Ult. Perfect. Heal your Zarya. Heal your Zarya. Keep your Zarya alive for a second. Now damage. There you go. Boom. I would have ulted about 3 to 4 seconds sooner. But, still worked out. Still worked out. Yeah, but basically Enfeeble an orb was like this thing where it was just basically, instead of damage orb, you basically just reduce the damage of like, you would reduce damage. Does that make sense? Like, that was the whole strategy. Is you would just reduce damage with the orb, but there was no reason to use it outside of when something major happened. So, well, you would basically have a cooldown that you would use less than an ultimate. Because, like, you would have to wait for something to happen. And it would never happen, so you would just sit there. It was awful. I'd see how your attack goes again.
Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Oh, there's damage orb. And your Bastion will have moments of getting rolled. It happens. Behind you went a Bastion. Now, where's that Bastion? I mean, not the Bastion, the D.Va. Where's that D.Va going is the question. Now you've... You're worried about... You need to make sure your tank is getting proper heals in some of these situations. You're just forgetting to heal your tank. That's always going to be important. Really good Moiras find the value between the heals and the damage. Not try to, like, damage a Lucio in front of you when you can make sure you keep your Zarya alive with good charge, and then you end up killing both. And then your Zarya survives, right? There it is again. You're basically letting your tank die. Yeah. Morning.
Taste of poison. Time is of the essence.
You're not even hitting them there, by the way. You're out of range. You're out of range. I want you to just make sure, just keep your teammate alive. Just keep your teammate alive. Keep your Zarya alive. Keep your Zarya alive. Keep your Zarya alive. Worry about your Zarya. What? Like, so what I want you to do now is I want you to think about this from your Zarya's point of view. And I always say this. Are you giving your tank, are you giving your Zarya an opportunity to be able to win this team fight for you, right? And the answer to that, in my opinion, is no, right? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, in my opinion, the answer is no. You're not giving your teammate any opportunity to be able to survive that. So I want you to start doing almost like a checklist, right? And I'm going to pause for a second because the ads are playing, but I want you to have like a checklist. Like, okay, is my tank okay? Am I playing too passive? Am I doing nothing? And what I mean by that is that I want you to just sort of remind yourself on that, because I think that will help you a ton. Because you kind of get stuck. I always call it stuck in the mud. I think you just kind of stand there and you do nothing. Start to worry about your tank a little bit more. If your tank is at a good HP, then you do your damage. If your tank starts to take damage, keep your tank alive. I promise you this. You keep an aggressive tank, especially a Zarya alive, and you're on Moira, you're going to have a great time. Because that Zarya is going to lead the front. They can't ignore the Zarya. And that opens up the world to you to be able to do as much damage and as healing as you want possible. But you need to start with that type of situation. So whether it's a Zarya in your game, whether it's a Rhine, etc., start with that. Then start to do the damage. And then find that balance. And then what you do is, as you get better at that and more comfortable with that, you'll become better in general, because now you know, oh, okay, now I can do damage. Now I don't have to think about when I go and do damage, because I know that I'm following the checklist of like, okay, my tank's fine. I can do damage now. All right? My tank isn't fine. I'm going to make sure my tank is kept alive. I'm going to make sure they can win the team fights, and then you go and do all that stuff. Yeah, the time you thought she was into? No, in my opinion, I don't think the Zarya is. Now, to your question, could the Zarya have a little bit better positioning? Yes. But even when I saw the Zarya have good positioning, you weren't even healing him sometimes. You're just like, oh, you're
Good
like,
morning,
oh,
everyone.
You weren't even healing him.
Streamer.
You're like, look at the
Hope
Zarya, you're like,
your New Year is
whatever,
going
like,
great.
they'll be fine. But that's the problem is, yeah. Much better position in here. This isn't bad. By the way, when someone said hotel earlier, is that what you meant? Like this corner, this is fine. I thought you were talking about just like playing back in here. This is fine right here for now at the start. To point that part out.
Receive my aid. I'm under attack. Need a moment to recharge.
I mean, that's just rough resource management out of you, and then now you're out of stuff. Heal, heal. I mean, you're right on the damage orb. The damage orb was correct. You needed the resources. The healing orb, one of the guy knew that. So that was correct.
I offer something more. Give me some.
Yeah, you're sorry. That was rough resource management at the beginning, and then you couldn't catch back up. So, all right. So, what I really think you can improve. I mean, you mentioned that like you feel like you've been playing since season 1, and like your goal is to get to plat. Well, good news is you got a lot you can work on, which is never like it's never a bad thing in like gaming where you have things you can work on because it gives you goals, things to focus on. So, kind of start with that checklist I mentioned. Make sure your tank's okay. Start with your tank. If your tank is fine and is good, start to do more damage output, start to throw the damage orb, start to be more aggressive, start to do things like that. And just go through that basic rotation or checklist. Always ask yourself, am I doing something right now? Am I standing here doing nothing? Sometimes it's okay, but a lot of the time you just stood there and did nothing until something happened, and that's the problem, okay? So find more time for damage orbs. Recognize resource management, right? You don't want to use all your heals at the beginning of a choke and then not have your resources, and then choose to use the healing orb when like damage orb is where, remember, for anybody like new to Moira, damage is where you get your resources back very fast. When you do your right click damage and when you do a damage orb, it gives you some of your resources back. So technically, the reason why you want to balance that is because Moira is a hero that can do a ton of damage and a ton of healing in one game. You can finish a game with 20,000 healing and 15,000 damage if you do it right. And a lot of that is that resource management, recognizing that your heals are going to be good. You can also do, if you get good damage orbs and you can find ways to get good right clicks in, you're going to have a constant flow of heals. If you don't, you're going to run out of heals and you're constantly on your back foot. So just clean up that part of your game and we'll start with that because I don't want to overcomplicate a lot of things. I think just start with that. Are you doing something? Are you involved? Are you playing too passive? Are you paying attention to your tank? Start with that, and I think everything else will get there. The backline pressure, I'm not worried about that yet, but I want you to be more involved in these games. And when you are, I think you're going to see a huge increase in the quality of your Moira gameplay. Because right now, you're just basically sitting there, all right? So you can do this. You said you wanted to hit plat. You got this. You absolutely got this. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to all 3 YouTubes if you haven't, leave a comment. All that helps. Little question, too. Do you like when we get a little bit more advanced on stuff? Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. Going into the new year, I wanted to iterate slightly on Spectating, and if adding a little bit more detail to some of them is something you like, let me know, all right? But yeah, like the video. We also record these. If you want to submit your own Discord. If you want to submit your own Spectating, look in the description below. It's my Discord. That's where you do that. We also record these live on stream. We stream on Twitch and YouTube, so stop by if you haven't. We have a lot of fun here. With that being said, hope you have an amazing day/night.